Beauty. It knows no credence, color, or code. There is no one standard, no timestamp, no framework or mold. It goes beyond the surface and into the soul. That place within we all long to reveal. Our deepest human desire, to be seen and heard and know we belong. But some walk tall, turn, and face the future, confidently knowing they're capable and strong. They set a course for their life and take the ride. You are a pioneer in the beauty industry. What started as just a side hustle out of your home has now become a multi-million-dollar global phenomenon, inspiring women all around the world through your remarkable life story. Despite these grand visions you had for yourself, your road to success, of course, was far from easy. So what did life look like before you created Beauty Bakerie?
Well, I had my daughter at 16. So I got pregnant at the age of 15, and at that point, everything you dream of stops, and you begin dreaming for your child. I got on every government assistance program there was. I was on food stamps, I was on daycare assistance, everything you can think of. And I'll never forget being motivated by a discussion I was having with someone else who was really excited at the time to get paid minimum wage, and that was going to be the future for her and her child. And I thought, if I give in to this today, that's it. There's nothing else to look forward to. I wanted to create a future that wouldn't typically come to the regular person on food stamps. So the pressure was tremendous. The birth of Beauty Bakerie was around my mid-20s. The name was easy, and then the concepts seemed to come even easier. So brownies for your brows and flour setting powder for your face. And it was like I was going off into some wonderland. The deeper I went with it, the more ideas that came along. I had promised God that I would give it 5 straight years. Broke, homeless, whatever the case may be, I had to keep going.
As someone who never gave up in the face of adversity, what was the biggest turning point for your brand where you saw that it had the potential to become this massive success?
I think I always knew that the brand could become this massive success. I saw it on the shelves of Sephora and Ulta back when it was very scrappy. I think, however, those early days, they're not as pretty as everyone would like them to be. It was becoming your own order fulfillment person, your own customer service coordinator, your own CFO, your CMO. You were every hat, and there was no one to call. I didn't have resources, I didn't have money. I was going to work, which was an 8 or 9 hour shift. I was a nurse. And then I would come home and start on my other job, which was Beauty Bakerie and taking care of my daughter. The orders that were coming in took over the entire apartment at this point. There are orders in the living room, they're in the kitchen. I can't cook anymore. They're on top of the stove. There are orders along my bed, all like a zigzag. It was in that moment that I realized I did something, and I really need to figure out what I did, because if I can figure that out, I can replicate that. And then this can actually be a company that's sustainable.
Soon after launching, you got a devastating diagnosis. What did doctors tell you, and what was going through your mind at that time?
A year out after starting the brand, I was diagnosed at that point with breast cancer. Hearing that in that moment, there were just so many different emotions. The first thing you think is, oh, okay, so I'm going to die. Do I have everything in place for my daughter? What do I need to do today to make sure all of my affairs are in order? I was pretty young at the time. I thought the worst. I fell apart. Sometimes a whole day was too much to take. I remember pulling up to a gas station, crying at the pump. And I had just learned about a Bible verse, Jeremiah 29:11, and I'm saying, "For you know the plans I have for you." And the tears are just streaming. They're just raining down, and I don't believe the words. But I think over a few months, I would repeat that whenever I wanted to fall apart. And slowly over time, I started to believe it. God was telling me I needed to tell this story. And I thought, no, that is not the type of person that I am. I don't go and tell people about my challenges. And he said to me, you're making this about you, and you losing your breast has nothing to do with you. I need you to go out and tell this story. And by telling this story, you will reach people. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Your resilience is incredibly inspiring. How did this experience not only give you a new outlook on life, but a completely new approach to both beauty and business?
I believe that becoming this messenger for a larger purpose came crashing down all at once because I had this conflict about who I believed I was, why I believed I had started the company, which I was working on from hospital beds. And I realized I was turning into this angry woman inside. And so the motto was born, and it was be better, not bitter. And that motto brought me up out of that depression, and it told me to tell myself every day that you can make this decision right now to whine and cry and, oh, I lost my breast, oh, no one's ever gonna want me, oh, I'm a single mom. Or you can go this way, down this path and say, but I'm still here, I'm alive. Becoming better, not bitter, changed me across every aspect of my life. I decided I could no longer accept negative thinking. When I looked at my brand, I applied that same way of thinking and thought to myself, wow, I don't know what I came in contact with to be 26 with breast cancer, but perhaps it was the lotion, perhaps it was the deodorant. So I thought, I'm going to make sure that I take a closer look at the ingredients, what we're putting into our products, and try my personal best to reduce exposure to toxins for my customers. The Sweet Life, which is one of our brand's mantras as well, it became this beautiful trifecta of a love for entrepreneurship and art, and then a love of giving back and clean ingredients so that you can take advantage of the moments that matter most in a day. Beauty Bakerie is now sold in over 120 countries online and over 700 brick and mortar stores worldwide. I just hope to continue to spread the mission of being sweet and sweetening the lives of others, and the value in thinking about someone other than yourself.
From the moment you started, you've built your company on true inclusion, operating with this ethos of genuine diversity. How are you accomplishing this through your product lines?
I think as a teenager, I remember going to the pharmacy with my grandmother and seeing the foundation offering on the shelf, and it would stop with about 8 bottles, and it would stop at my shade. And I remember thinking, this shade was not made for me. It just so happens that it works for me. It was just an accident that my shade was there, that they had created this for a very tanned white woman. I couldn't help but to notice that there were no shades after me. And so when I did have the opportunity to create a foundation line, I created the shades from dark to light, and I made sure that we had something for everyone. We numbered the shades from dark to light to let a group of people know that you don't always have to be last. Your beauty does matter. That's just the type of heart that I have. And I think if I find other underdogs, then we represent them through our line. So Beauty Bakerie caters to all sexes, all genders, all shade ranges, in every possible way, because we're all here. We all have a voice and we want to be heard. All of us contribute to that beauty of the world. There is no one standard for beauty. Representing that in the brand really gives the customers a sense of home. They feel accepted, they feel loved for just who they are. Since that day, I wheeled out of the surgery room and decided I lived for a reason. I'm all about staying in the light, and so that's where I'm living now.
It's been a wild ride. If there's one thing I've learned this season, no matter how shiny the picture of success appears, the real work was often done alone and in the dark. These inspiring leaders made the choice not to hide from the shadows, but to live and lead in the light, reminding us that we too have our own superpowers to ignite.
I'm a superwoman. I'm a superwoman.